I'm delighted to be joined by Raquel Pennington. Hello, Raquel. It's a pleasure to have you here with us for LowKick MMA. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm being lazy, enjoying this cooler weather. Colorado's doing some weird things. Got a little bit of a stomach bug going on, so kind of just one of those days that I'm hanging out.
Oh, what happened, if I may ask?
I don't know. I think I ate something bad. I don't know, but I've been down for the count for the last 2 days, so finally feeling a little bit better. But other than that, I mean, yeah, my stomach's just weird.
Yeah, and you're coming off an incredible win over Aspen Ladd, and you had your cast off about 2 weeks ago, if I'm correct. What's the update on your hand injury like?
Well, it's not really healing. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it.
yeah,
But
the ring finger.
yeah, I won't straighten, and so got a little bit of a setback going with recovery and stuff, but we're getting there. We'll get there.
Yeah, and you've started doing cardio again. And do you feel like when can we expect to see you back in the ring?
I would love to have been back in there yesterday, but as soon as I can get this hand to start bending and functioning the way it should, then I'll be able to full-blown train, and then just got to get back in shape, and I hope to get back in there right away.
Right, and you called out Sarah McMahon right after your win for a title eliminator match, right? So do you believe a win over McCann will get you the title shot you want?
So I think that, so like when it comes to the wins in the women's bantamweight division, it's just like Amanda, myself, and Sarah, and like for the longest time we were all going back and our numbers. And that's kind of why when it came to after the fight, I was just like, Sarah, like we were originally supposed to fight I want to say 2021, but I ended up sustaining a neck injury, so I had to pull from the fight. But I just felt like, I mean, Sarah's on her own grind, and I just feel like within the top 10. But really, I think the real title eliminator match would be against Ketlen Vieira.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if there was anyone else in the top five, because she just climbed up 3 ranks. So are you interested in matching up with her?
Absolutely. I actually wanted to fight her. I was trying to get the fight with her, and then they said that Holly was no longer injured. Her and Holly were going to fight. And then I ended up fighting Aspen, and now I have the hand injury, but I would absolutely love to fight Ketlen.
Wow, that's incredible. I want to see that fight happen right now, because that's literally what was on my mind next. I'm like, you know what, Sarah McCann, yeah, that she's cool, she's amazing, all props to her, but I want to see you fight Vieira. And you said it before I did. Amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something else. You currently have 10 wins in the UFC Women's Bantamweight division, and you're only 1 win behind Amanda Nunes, who has 11. Is that something that factors into your mindset of like, okay, I want to get that record before I hang up the gloves?
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, I mean, I just want to finish off. I had a rough patch, and I kept going like this with my career. So at the end of the day, like, I just want a better record for myself in general. But I believe I have like the most appearances in women's bantamweight at this point. And then, Amanda and I keep exchanging that number, but I feel eventually like I'll pass that one up and take that one and stuff too. So, but at the end of the day, like right now, it's just about getting wins. It's about the ultimate goal. I want a world title shot again. And I want to become the world champion. So that's where I'm at, and I mean, getting to that point, obviously I have to get the W's, get those wins. And so all those other statistics will take care of themselves.
Right. So when we look at Nunes' next fight against Juliana Pena for the title, do you have a dog in that fight? Is there a preference you have for one person to win over the other?
Honestly, no. I want to fight them both. So, I figured Juliana and I would have fought during the Ultimate Fighter or shortly after that time frame. But that never happened. And then with Amanda, like, there was a lot going into that fight. And so I want to redeem myself from that fight. And then, so like I said, I mean, I really don't care. As far as a competitive aspect, like, I'm rooting for Amanda, but as far as being the competitor in the sport and being able to have the bantamweight division move forward, Juliana would have to win the fight. So, because otherwise it would be like Juliana 1-1, Amanda 1-1. Here we got to go with the trilogy fight, and nobody else gets that shot. So, in order to move forward and progress and be able to have world title shots, like I do want Juliana to win in that purpose. But whether Amanda's champion, whether Juliana's champion, like I plan on fighting them. So
Right, and you are rooting for Nunes. Is it because of your first fight with her that you want to avenge that loss, and you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe if Nunes wins this one, I could get in the title contention and then get that one.
yeah, I mean, I just want to avenge it. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm the better fighter. I had a serious injury going into that fight that I pushed myself way too fast with, and it played a massive part. And so I just want to avenge the loss in general. As far as rooting for Amanda, like I've always, Amanda and I met because of the sport. We came from Invicta Fighting Championships. My family's always supported her and stuff and whatnot. And so like there's somewhat of a friendship behind the scenes of everything. And like, I want to see her succeed. And so that's where that part comes from rooting for her.
Yeah, and she did come out and speak in your defense. Like she showed you a lot of support after your fight with her, and she even said it in the media that she gave you her number, just letting you know that she is giving you all the support she can give. It's very nice to see when athletes do that. Like just having that.
At the end of the day, I mean, it's a sport. It's about sportsmanship. Like we're in there, but business is handled in the octagon, and outside of that, like there's no reason for that. So this whole thing where everybody like they have so much animosity, it's this whole thing, and they hate each other, and they're talking about each other's families and kids and wives, and I don't know what all. Like that's just over and beyond, and it's living up to this entertainment. And at the end of the day, like we're not WWE. Like this is a very physical, like real sport, and we're sitting here like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I mean, when it comes to it, sportsmanship is a huge thing after everything is said and done.
Yes. So let's move on to another topic. Raquel Pennington, or may I say Raquel Rocky Pennington, how does it feel to be Amanda Hood's best friend? Just kidding. Seriously though, what has it been like for you since the start of the trial?
I was like, are you serious? Honestly, at this point, I'm so sick of hearing about it. Like when everything first started happening, it was just like, what is going on? My social media like blew up like crazy. And it's just crazy to me how it is the year 2022 and we have so many resources available. But the problem is media, for one, cannot report very well. So there's been some media that's mixed up some things, and they keep saying former title challenger or MMA competitor. And that's where it's gotten a huge mix up in. But, I mean, honestly, like after everything kept dragging me into it and I kept hearing about it, I was like, let's watch some of this. So I watched some of the trial, and I think that Amber and Raquel and all of them made themselves look absolutely ridiculous. Like that trial was just absolutely ridiculous. I was full force for Johnny on that one. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was extremely crazy to see like the messages I was getting. Wow, like people are extremely passionate and they absolutely hate Amber Heard. Like they hate her, but the level that they were going to within just the words that they were saying, like it amazes me how somebody can get on their computer and type out the things that they can to other individuals. Like it's honestly pretty sad, and that's why the world is the way it is these days, and there's so much hatred and so much issues just going on, and it's because of simple things like that. But I mean, I had to make the best of the situation, so I had some fun with it, and it was just like, I was going to catch heat regardless and whatnot. But yeah, it was crazy. So needless to say, I'm glad that's over with, and I hope I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, because the crazy part of it is you don't only share your first and last name with both best friend or whoever that person is, you also share the nickname. And you're right, when I went some articles on the media, they were all reporting it as if it was you, former fighter, all these things.
I read a bunch of them, but yeah, that girl just took a good name and destroyed it. Like, I'm gonna smack her. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like it is amazing the names that people come up with to call you and the things that they say and stuff. I was just like, wow. And then like, obviously the facts and stuff going on within the trial and the different things. And it was just like, people call me a liar, and it was just kind of entertaining in a certain aspect too, because it was just like, I was like, okay, keep telling me things I don't know about myself. Like, let's keep like, because I mean, I had nothing to do with this. So it wasn't like offending me, but I mean, the same way that we were just talking about the entertainment portion with MMA and these guys getting crazy and talking about each other's family, like even with this trial, I mean, people thinking it was me, and they started talking crap about my family and all my loved ones. And it was just like, wow, you guys are the level that people take it to is just, it's incredible.
Yeah. Did your partner, Tisha Torres, did she have something to say about what was going on?
She thought it was funny. At one point, she started getting irritated too, just because of the fact that, like, I don't know, apparently, like, this chick lived in his penthouse for free. And somewhere in there, it said with her fiance. So then people took the behind the scenes pictures of Tisha and I from, like, my fight with Holly Holm at the arena. And they started reporting that as, like, me and my fiance. And so she got drug into it, was catching a lot of messages, just saying really nasty things. And, like, Tisha, like, she pays attention to a lot more of that stuff. So she was just getting really irritated with stuff. But for a while, she was just like, this is crazy. And she was laughing at things and whatever. But I mean, what are you going to do about it,
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. But it speaks to your character, how calmly you're able to handle it and not get dragged into the mud.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now that trial has ended, you're still getting some hate for it?
Yeah. I mean, there's been some messages, a lot of justice is served, you effing liar, and mostly being called a liar now. And so it's fine. But yeah, I mean, like, every picture that I post, or like and the best part is like, once people realize it's not me, they'll do some stupid public comment, but then they send me messages privately and they're apologizing. But I'm still getting messages about, like, just a bunch of hate mail, and that basically, like, I look like a dumbass lying up there, and that's why justice was served, and that karma's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life, and I don't know what all. And so there's just stuff kind of lingering from it. But just like everything, I mean, people will forget about that, and next week there's gonna be a new story to talk about. So
Oh wow, that's a very mature outlook on the entire fiasco. Wow, I'm very impressed by that take on it. Because yeah, if somebody, that's where I don't understand it, right? Like you said, they said you look like you're lying up there, so that means they've clearly watched the video. You can tell it's not the same person. You can just look at their faces. But
well, I don't know. It's amazing. I was getting messages about people. They were like, it's crazy how you look like one person on your Instagram, you look different in the octagon, and then up on the in the stand for the trial, you look completely different. You can sit here and go get more muscles and tattoos and cover yourself, but you're always going to be that liar. And it was just like, wow, like, the fact that people can't do their homework is just incredible. And the best part is, I put a tweet out there, and it's like, for you guys so invested, because if you're invested in something, you would think that you would pay attention to all the facts, you would have the details, like, you would know exactly who you're talking to. So all these people, just like everything else in life, people just kind of feed off of each other. And it was one of those situations, there's people that didn't even have their facts together, but they're feeding off the world. The world's all about justice for Johnny. So, we're going to jump on board with that. And it's kind of the same thing with fighting. Like, freaking Ronda Rousey or Amanda can be the world champion, and they love her to death. And then the minute she loses, like, oh, they're the next person's bandwagon. Like, it's just how it works, And so they just, like, I feel like they were just all kind of feeding off of each other. And, there's not a lot of people who are truly invested. They just like to talk shit and pretend like things. So
your tweet that you have pinned over on there really reveals the hypocrisy of all the people who are accusing you of things without the research.
Yeah, right.
Now, talking about your family, I also noticed that recently your godson graduated from kindergarten, and you were there to attend it. So that's different from what the public knows you as, a fighter, and then you attend that. How was it like for you? How did it feel?
Oh, it's great. I'm super family oriented. It's just the way I was raised. My family's always supported everything that we've done. And, I mean, it's the same thing as the younger generation. So my nieces and nephews, my little cousins, my godsons, like, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to feel that love and support. And, I cherish those moments. I love things like that. And so it was fun just to go watch that and see that accomplishment, and the little smile on his face and the way he was walking. Like, those are moments that, like, can never be replaced,
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, Raquel, I did want to mention, I thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you and just clearing that whole situation up for everyone who will watch this. But I did want to give you the floor to give a shout out to any sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to.
Well, first and foremost, it was good talking to you. Thanks for having me on. And, I mean, actually, I'm wearing their hat. So Boyke's air dried beef. Thank you for all the love and support. But really, I like to give a shout out to my true fans out there and the ones that have stood by me and truly followed my career this entire time. Like they've constantly motivated me and pushed me. And even in the times that got tough, like reading people's messages were super inspiring for me. So even though people think that I'm inspiring them, I'm inspired in my own ways too by people. And then of course, my family who's always stood beside me, my close friends, my teammates, and my coaching staff.
Wow, very heartfelt. Thank you so much, Raquel, for your time today, and I wish you all the best here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.